What's up, my dino folks, my dino brethren? I've got a Patreon! Oh, this is Matthew Donald, by the way. You probably should know whose Patreon you're signing up for before you sign up for it. Just a handy life tip, listeners, at patreon.com/Matthew Donald. There you can find bonus content for both the Ritwit and Paleobites, my two podcasts. For the Paleobites bonus content, we discuss pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. And this month, we're talking about Dinotopia, a land apart from time. This is the one that started it all in the Dinotopia franchise. The lovingly illustrated picture book extravaganza written and illustrated by James Gurney. It's great stuff. It's an amazing world. I would love to live there, except for the lack of internet. I couldn't live without the internet. Link is in the description for where you can sign up to the Patreon, especially if you're looking at this from Libsyn. It's right there at the bottom, paleobites.libsyn.com. It's right down there. Thank you for your support. Have a lovely day.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast with a host like an ammonite. I'm round, squishy, and I have no backbone. My name's Matthew Donald, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week, I'm joined by someone who I've just had a nice long talk with about the universe, aliens,
and how much we don't matter.
And how much nothing matters. Lexi Ryan, how are you?
You. Hello.
I used that intro for a Patreon episode of Paleobites, but who cares? I'm going to use it again.
Yeah, why not? It's good.
Yeah, ammonite.
Plus, that one didn't have me in it, so.
Yeah. Right, of course. Well, it's just like the, you know what an ammonite is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the one with the shell.
Yeah, I believe I have some earrings over on my table actually that are those.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I like ammonites.
I'll have to show you afterwards.
In the second of my Megazoic books, there's this bad guy who creates these mutant creatures. He genetically modifies dinosaurs and makes them into these terrifying beasts. He turns this ammonite into a giant one and calls it the Amokin, like a kraken, but it's an ammon.
I'm just picturing the Pokemon that kind of looks like one of them with the like Davy Jones face.
Oh yeah, the Cthulhu.
It's like Omnistar. No, that's like a gasoline company. No, I don't know.
with what is that one called? The gasoline Sinclair.
Maybe yeah.
Hey, do you ever watch this is just related. On Disney Plus, they just re-released Dinosaurs on Disney Plus.
I'm the baby.
Yeah, the 90s Jim Henson one.
It's like stop motion, right?
Well, it's people in costumes.
It's people in costumes?
Yes.
I thought it was toys.
No, they're in costumes.
It's obviously been a long time.
I watched some of it. I forgot. The family's called the Sinclairs, by the way, which is kind of funny.
I wonder if that's why that gas station. Also, I don't know if that gas station is anywhere else but Colorado. So
I've never seen it in other places.
Okay, good. Then it's not just an us reference.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, and also because it's as the dinosaur because fossil fuels, so
yes.
But so they're the Sinclairs. That show ends really darkly, by the way.
I don't know if it's at the point where we do this, but I thought of another question to ask you.
Oh yes, go on. Yeah, go ahead.
My last one was a little odd. This isn't much tamer.
Yes.
So, any show or movie or anything with a dinosaur in it, like as the character, what's the best one? And it doesn't have to just be dinosaur. It can be like prehistoric.
So you're talking about like a thing with dinosaurs, but it's not just the humans are the main characters. The dinosaurs are the main characters.
It can be dinosaurs. Like you could.
So like Jurassic Park doesn't count because those are the humans, right?
Yeah, that's true. So I'm talking about a dinosaur or dinosaur-like being.
Well, I can't say my book, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, that's cheap.
That's cheated. Maybe
because I've got one. I mean, it's not like a real dinosaur, but it would be what I qualify.
What?
I'm gonna pick Mushu from
Mulan. Well, actually,
he's a dragon.
The original myth of the dragons. The Chinese found dinosaur bones, and that kind of is how they incorporate it. So it kind of fits.
That makes sense. I mean, you've been saying how many different species have been discovered in China, so it makes sense that would leap into the culture. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know. Maybe do you ever watch? You remember Disney's Dinosaur?
My brother, was that a movie?
It was a movie.
Yeah, my brother had an animal with that. Yeah.
It had the dinosaurs. It also had some lemurs in it for some reason.
Okay. Those weren't around at the same time?
No, they weren't. They were not. These are like modern Safika lemurs.
Yes.
So I guess I'm assuming the executives put them in because they're like, dinosaurs aren't relatable, we need something cute and cuddly.
Oh, I guess that one, that would be mine, or Smaug. Because
Smaug. Okay, if you're talking about dinosaur-like.
Yeah, dinosaur. Yeah. I mean, you might know more dinosaur actual dinosaurs than I do. I didn't
Right.
grow up with
Okay.
them as much, but
Um,
so I'm thinking like dragons.
have you ever played the video games or heard of the video games, the Borderlands series?
Yes, I
Border-
definitely have.
Borderlands. Okay. In the third one, I don't know if there were in earlier ones, but in the third one, there's this race of creatures called saurians, and they're basically dinosaurs with guns. And
Okay,
that's
I can
pretty
tell
cool.
why you would like that. It's
Yeah.
very similar to a book.
Yes.
That's- have
but like,
written?
it's just really funny because like this one saurian is on the ship and he asks you 4 questions, and your player character's like, "All right, well, I'm just wondering why you're a dinosaur." It's pretty. It's pretty funny. I never got if Borderlands was in the future or in some fantasy.
I think that's the
Sci-fi.
point. From what I've heard about it, it's kind of like the point to be obscure, I think.
Yeah, because like it's very sci-fi and there's no reference to Earth or anything, and there's all
Mhm.
these weird creatures, but at the same time they reference Earth legends like Zeus and other
Yeah.
things. They mention dinosaurs.
God, this
and
sounds
other-
a little bit like it was made from the same people who wrote Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I
Because
guess.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I've heard of it, but I've never
But-
seen it.
You got to watch that show.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that with getting to the last episode and not finishing it because I didn't want the ride to be over.
Well, you made it over at your own terms. You said like, oh, it's,
I gotta. It's so funny because on that show, I know that we've now you've made the adjustment to the Velociraptor sound for swears,
yes.
but on that show, everything is frack off.
Oh, that's where frack came
frack.
from.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's frack. Yeah.
That's fracking ridiculous.
Yep, that's exactly
Mother
where it came from. Yeah,
fracker.
exactly. She'll be like, "Frack you, Captain." Like,
That's pretty funny. I like fantasy swear words.
Oh, I loved it. It was the first time I really had seen something like that. I loved it.
Mudblood.
Oh, I guess that is one too.
Yeah.
It was a naughty one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
call
some
me
other
that.
ones. I don't know if that counts.
I don't think that's a swear name. I think that's just him being crazy.
Okay, well, speaking of Gollum and Smaug, we're talking about Orkoraptor today. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the Lord of the Rings raptors. In fact, it's spelled a little bit differently. It's spelled O-R-K-O raptor rather than O-R-C, like the orcs in.
Why?
Okay, it means toothed feet, and the name comes from the Orcor, which is the local name of the La Leona River in Argentina.
Another Argentina.
Yes, from the Tehuelche people of Patagonia. It sounds like orc though, so I'm like, why not?
Or it kind of sounds like the noise I would make if I was a pig eating quickly. Kind of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
That's true. It does sound like. I wonder if that's where Tolkien came up with the name.
He's just surrounded some pigs. Oh, that's a good noise. Maybe that's. They kind of act like.
I mean, it
pigs.
sounds like that's kind of close to Wink.
They act like pigs.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah.
Looks like
We're
meat's
on-
back on the
We're
menu.
on to something.
Pigs would be very happy if meat was back on the menus.
Yes.
Okay, so it means toothed feet. Type is a megaraptor theropod. I'll get into what the megaraptors are. Sounds hardcore though, right?
Yes, mega.
Size 20 to 27 feet, / 6 to 8 meters long. So about the size of a no, not a butt.
What were you about to say? A butt?
A bus. I was gonna say.
Whose butt you been looking at?
Not even. I don't think there's a single butt ever that
Godzilla's?
big. Even a whale butt's not that big. Maybe Godzilla's butt.
Yeah, Godzilla. Well, he has a tail. We
It's true, we don't
talked about
know.
how small the butts would be if you had a tail.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, no, it's probably like 2 pickup trucks put together. That's the
All
length
right.
of this thing.
The length or the width?
The length.
Okay, good.
So height is probably like 12 feet
Hefty.
tall.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not 2 pickup trucks. Maybe like a pickup truck and then a smart car.
Okay. I like that we've gone to cars as units of measurement. It's good.
I mean, you know how a lot of people say football fields as a unit
It's
of
funny
measurement?
because I don't know anything about football, but I certainly just found out that a sedan was the kind of car I drove for a while, like 3 years ago. So I am not.
I always thought sedan was a brand of car. No,
yeah, I
it's,
thought so too.
no, it's
Thank
just
you.
a-
We are just car
it's
ignorant.
just like SUV or
yeah,
minivan.
or a hatchback is a thing.
What is a
apparently.
hatchback?
A hatchback, I'm told, is what like my car is, the Honda Fit. Listeners, if you disagree, let us
Okay,
know.
I don't remember what your car looks like now, so show me your car when
Okay.
we go back to the parking garage later. So,
Yeah.
All right. So diet carnivore, another carnivore. We got some herbivores to talk about today. Don't worry.
No, I like the meat eaters.
Okay, we only got one herbivore. Then don't worry. A time late Cretaceous, 80 to 75 million years ago. Location Argentina again. It was described in 2008. Pop culture appearances. I used one in my final Megazoa book near the end as a one-off character, but other than that, nada. This is a pretty obscure one.
Is it as gross as an orc?
Maybe. I don't know. They're pretty gross. Well, I thought they was thought the Uruk-hai were grosser because they came out of mud.
Wait, and what does this one look like? Unless you're about to get into that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I haven't shown you a picture of this. But
Okay.
I'll send you the picture here.
Yes.
Oh, that is pretty gross looking. It's got little feathers. Got kind of glowing eyes.
Dude, it just looks like it's got no neck. It just kind of goes thick to thick.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Orkoraptor. Have you ever heard of the Warhammer 40K?
No.
It is a tabletop game.
Okay.
It's where you have these little soldiers and they kind of do things that you buy the soldiers separately and you have your army and you can and so you can build your army and you can act on these battlefields in these various turns. It's really nerdy. It's really expensive.
I was gonna say that sounds expensive.
It's very expensive because you have to buy the figures yourself and paint them yourself. But I am
fun.
I'm so into the lore. It is bonkers. It's called Warhammer 40K because originally it was based off of the Warhammer series, which is like a Lord of the Rings style world, but darker. But 40K, it's let's do it sci-fi. What year does it take place in? 40K. So right now we're in 2000. Imagine 40,000.
Yeah.
So 38,000 years in the future. It's pretty ridiculous.
Scary.
Yeah, and it's very dark, very, very dark. But there is a group of aliens in it called orcs. So it's how Vulcans are sci-fi elves?
Yes.
So these are sci-fi orcs.
Okay.
So they're green and have big teeth, and they're kind of fungal creatures. They reproduce by spreading out in spores.
Oh, I was thinking someone covered in mushrooms.
Yeah, maybe something. I don't know. But they're covered. They send out spores that become orcs or whatever.
Okay.
They're kind of the comic relief race. They don't have guns. They have shootahs, not shooters. Shootahs.
What did they shoot?
They just shoot bullets or whatever.
Okay, so a gun.
Yeah, just guns. They're guns, but they call them shootahs or big shootahs or big mech boys. Or
it's just to lessen the scariness of it. Oh, this isn't a gun; it's a shooter.
Yes, it's a big shooter, and
I don't know guns here.
Yeah, no, exactly. And they fire faster if you paint them red. That kind of ridiculous sort of thing. It's great. All their technology just looks all cobbled together out of scrap. It's a cool.
It's neat.
Yeah, it's a cool version of sci-fi orcs, but it's spelled with a K, and that's why I bring it up because normal orcs like Lord of the Rings orcs or Warcraft orcs are spelled with a C.
Yeah.
So this one, the Orkoraptor, is spelled with a K. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
So when its fossils were first uncovered, it was thought to be related to the raptors, like the velociraptor. That's why it includes the name, hence the name Orkoraptor. In fact, one theory, though, was that wasn't a raptor, but was closely related to the compsognathids. You remember compsognathus?
Yes.
The little one?
Yes, I definitely do.
Yeah, this was a big version of it, they thought at first.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. Occasionally this happens with animals where you have a bunch of small versions, then you have one big version.
Yeah.
The Gallimimus, the ornithomimid ones, the one with kind of ostriches?
You mean the clindamycin? No, just
Yeah, the
kidding.
clindamyces. Side effects of Gallimimus may include.
Yes, I know Gallimimus.
Okay, so they're kind of all ostrichy, and they're kind of all the same size. They're kind of those little ostrich. Well, not little, they're still big, but ostrich things. But then there's this one huge one called Dinosaur, which is 40 feet long, and looks so big and bulky. It's occasionally that happens. But it turns out it's not a big compsognathid. It is what is called a megaraptoran.
Mega.
Which is named after its original fossil, the genus Megaraptor.
Okay.
And it was called this because I told you when we were talking about Velociraptor about the sickle claws.
Yes.
Right. So when we first found Megaraptor, it was just the sickle claw, but it was a foot long.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, those raptor claws, even the oversized one Jurassic Park, they're a couple inches?
That one's oversized? Okay.
Yeah. Even the Jurassic Park ones are oversized, but even those are just a couple inches. So imagine one that's a foot long. So they were okay, no wonder it's a
what
megaraptor.
Is this part of? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a megaraptor. We have since learned that was not its foot claw like a raptor. It is, in fact, a claw in the hand.
Okay.
And it was just kind of the pointer finger of the...
Okay.
So it used it like that. So it was a different version. It was still big. It would be way big for a raptor. Well, it wasn't a big raptor. It was something else. So, and it's this weird sort of family that we don't know if it's more related to the tyrannosaurs or the allosaurs or other things. There's all these different families. It's not just meat eater and plant eater with dinosaurs. There's all these different things. And Orkoraptor has been realized it's one of the megaraptorans.
Okay.
And that's
makes sense.
Yeah, so it's in that family. And most of them are from South America anyway. So South America is weird because it's one of those continents that is been an island for most of its existence. It only connected with North America 3 million years ago.
I was going to say, you know more about Pangea than I do.
Yeah. It used to be connected with Antarctica and Australia. They have formed this weird continent. In fact, I've heard recently that marsupials
Yes.
first evolved in North and South America.
Okay.
Like there were marsupials during dinosaur times. Like they were kind of relatives of possums and other things.
Right. Is a koala a marsupial?
Yes.
Okay.
And back in the Cretaceous times, there was a continent called Gondwana. It was when Pangaea split apart. There was one in the north and one in the south. Laurasia was the northern one,
And
Gondwana,
Wakanda. I'm just kidding.
and Wakanda, kind of. Gondwana was the southern one, and Laurasia, if you might recall in my book, there's the Laurasia core. That's where it came from. So,
Okay.
It's the northern continents.
I thought you just liked someone named Laura.
It does kind of look like that. No, Laurasia was the name of the Pangaea. I do have a friend named Laura. She's nice. She's done several
There you go.
Paleobites episodes. So. Laura, if you're listening, yay. You're a good person, anyways. So there was a time when there was a continent that, after Gondwana was further splitting apart, there was South America, then Antarctica, and then Australia. They formed this big line that kind of went towards the South Pole.
Okay.
Yeah. And back then, there was no polar ice caps, so Antarctica, even the South Pole, was a lot warmer. It still got cold in the winter, but the marsupials could cross it. They crossed from South America through Antarctica to Australia. And they reached Australia just as the meteor hit and the dinosaurs died out. But that meant that all the Australian dinosaurs that were on the island, they all wiped out.
So this is another silly question. Just really quick about the whole like meteor thing.
Yeah.
And like how that affected dinosaurs. So did it affect? I know that large enough events that are in one place of the world can affect the weather patterns of the entire world.
Yes.
When that happened, when the dinosaurs were killed in that era.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yeah.
Did all of them go? Was it an everywhere thing?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened was that the meteor created a huge load. What?
I'm just tensing because this is something that you and I both like.
Right.
This is both anxiety inducing.
Yes, exactly. What happens when the meteor hit? It created these shockwaves that hit a lot of North and South America. But what the real killer was the dust clouds.
That's what I was thinking, being the weather impact.
That was come up later. It covered the entire Earth for many, many years.
Yeah.
Photosynthesis basically stopped.
Because they had issues like that, I think, similar after, like Mount St. Helens or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with, like, why Yellowstone, which we know we're all afraid of.
Yes, but we don't.
That's the biggest threat with it.
Going to be as afraid right now, right? We talked about this.
Yes,
right?
we talked about this.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure.
So far, it seems to have been dying.
Fingers crossed. If you want a good scare and you don't know about Yellowstone, give it a Google.
Yes. So when the meteor hit and the dust clouds came, it affected all creatures that were big enough to not live off the tiny hardy plants that did survive.
Like cockroaches probably.
They were fine.
Yeah.
Pretty much every creature that was over 20 pounds died.
I got a lot of weight to lose.
Right. So since the mammals were small at the time because they were being outcompeted by the dinosaurs, they lived. Some of them still died, but
that's fascinating.
But I bring this up because once they reached Australia, there were no dinosaurs anymore, and so the only mammals that were around were these marsupials. That's why Australia has marsupials.
Koalas?
As koalas, kangaroos, wallabies, these are all descended from these creatures that migrated from South America all the way to Australia. And that's why they're only in Australia.
Oh my God, I'm totally going to go and ask my Australian brother-in-law, hey, do you know why you guys have this? He's not going to know.
Yeah, and that's why, we have one marsupial in North and South America, the possum. So...
That's really the only one.
That's really the only one. And the relatives of that were the ancestors of all the ones that went to Australia.
Does a possum have a pouch?
Yes.
What?
A female possum has a pouch.
That's nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
Yeah. A lot of people think possums are like weird rodent things. No, they're marsupials.
Yeah. I had a book growing up called Possum Come a Knockin', and that possum scared me, and I never wanted to see one in real life.
I wanted to write a story once for kids called Awesome Possums.
See, that's this was about a noisy possum who was scary looking.
Yeah.
So...
I found out the name Awesome Possums was taken by a crappy video game, though, but that's okay.
Well, you can still...
yeah, I don't know.
You can recycle it for a book, right?
Anyways, I bring all this up because there actually isn't that much to talk about with Orkoraptor.
But it's related
to the megaraptoran.
To the possum.
Yes, that's the takeaway from all this, yes. And as a relative of the possum, let's rate this possum relative 1 out of 65 million.
Oh boy. Well, I feel like I don't know much about it, but I did get that nice little gem about, the dinosaurs dying.
Yeah.
So, but
From-
just standalone.
You saw that picture I showed you, right? Where it had the weird glowing eye.
Yeah. Standalone, I feel like, part of me is like, he's an underdog, give it to him. But now I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'd probably give it like 25 million.
I was going to say, I was like thinking like 22. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
22 mil.
In my Megazoic book, actually, no, I don't want to spoil it for you, but he's just a one-off
Yes,
character.
please.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the final chapter, he's like,
The final chapter.
he's very plot important. No, he's not. He goes out with someone. This one.
No, but 22. 22 seems good.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it.
Solid.
That's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at matchd@matthewdollancreator.com for any general questions to either co-host. Or I can relay any questions, either way, if you have any. Please send me some. I'm very lonely. Okay.
Me too.
Valentine's Day, more like Singles Awareness
Right?
Day. It's around Valentine's Day when we're recording this, listeners. Anyway, so also, my social media is at Matthew Dolan Creator on Facebook, at Matthew Dolan 64 on Twitter, and Matthew Dolan 64 on Instagram. Lexi, what is your social media?
Mine is Lexi Tate 44
Yep,
on Instagram.
Yep, it's good stuff. And I also have a podcast called The Writ Wit, where two twits talk about writting. And you've just recently learned what twit is.
Yes, I did. I don't think you're a twit, but...
No, I know. I just, it's just like we call ourselves the Writ Wit Twits.
Yes,
So.
yes. Of course, for the sake of rhyme.
Of course. And also I have a book series that I've talked about several times on this episode so far called Megazoic, available for print and Kindle.
Pew pew, lasers.
I actually realized the best way to encapsulate Megazoic is pew pew roar.
Pew pew, roar. I love it. Pew pew.
Pew pew roar. All right, well that's it for this week. As I say at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites, pew pew roar.
Roar.
Awesome possums.